Welcome everyone to the Fearless Online Entrepreneurs Personal Growth Hangout for Tuesday, April 30th. My name is Deborah Barton Burton from Cincinnati, Ohio, and I have the panel here that's going to help with the sharing, the masterminding what we read today. As again, I have to stop my page. Entrepreneurs Personal Growth Hangout for Tuesday, April 30th. I forget this. My name is Deborah Barton Burton from Cincinnati, Ohio. As again, I forgot to stop the sound. On my 22 social page, I was inviting my friends and family to come listen to the hangout. Forgot to stop the sound, so I apologize for that. If everyone on the panel would please introduce yourself, and then we'll get into our reading today of He Knocked on 12,500 Doors, which is at I lost the part that I was showing. The fundamentals of success. So starting with Jody, would you please introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Jody Maley. I am from the interior of BC, Canada, in a little town called Quesnel. And I own Home Party Coach, as well as joining in on the mastermind here every day with the Fearless Online Entrepreneurs.
Diane?
Hi, I'm Diane Klein, and I am in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, and I am here with the Fearless Entrepreneurs to grow so that I can extend my business to the next level. I am online helping people, and especially stay-home moms, with extraordinary results in their business.
Thank you, Diane. And Lorraine?
Hi, my name is Lorraine Scotto-Blach, and I'm here every day with the online entrepreneurs as well. And I like to help people in their quest for ultimate health and wellness.
Thank you. And Rachel?
Hi, my name is Rachel Kelly. I am the founder of the Fearless Online Entrepreneur. I love to empower, encourage, train, and educate individuals on how to become all that they are created to be. Thank you, Deborah.
Thank you, Rachel. And last but not least, Terry.
Good morning. My name is Teresita Lewis, as Terry Lewis. I'm a new member on the Fearless Entrepreneur. I am getting to learn about online experiences through these ladies, and basically it's going great, and I'm enjoying it, and have a great Wednesday.
Thank you. This is our panel, our key core panel that are here to help you become all you can be and help help yourself. The reading today is from the Jack Canfield, the Success Principles by Jack Canfield, and we're at page 150. If you do not have the book, the person that invited you can share their Amazon link and help you acquire the book so you can follow in written form as well as the audio from the Hangout. I'll start the balance of this chapter, and then we'll have someone else will mastermind that. What we're reading about right now is learning how to ask for what you want. And we're at the end of that chapter that says, he knocked on 12,500 doors. I take rejection as blowing a bugle in my ear to wake me up and get me going rather than retreat. That is by Sylvester Stallone. He's an actor, writer, and director. When Dr. Ignatius Piazza was a young chiropractor fresh out of school, he decided he wanted to set up offices in the Monterey Bay area of California. When he approached local chiropractor associations for assistance, they advised him to set up shop somewhere else. They told him he wouldn't be successful because there were already too many chiropractors in the area. There was too many chiropractors in the area. Undaunted, he applied the next principle. For months, he went from door to door, early in the morning until sunset, knocking on doors. After introducing himself as the new young doctor in town, he asked a few questions. Where should I locate my office? What newspaper should I advertise in to reach my neighbors? Should I open early in the morning or stay open in the evening for those who have 9 to 5 jobs? Should I call my clinic Chiropractic West or Ignatius Piazza Chiropractor? And finally he asked, when I hold my open house, would you like to receive an invitation? If people said yes, he wrote down their names and addresses and continued on. Day after day, month after month, by the time he was done, he had knocked on over 12,500 doors and talked to over 6,500 people. He got a lot of no's. He got a lot of nobody homes. He even got trapped on the porch, cornered by a pit bull for a whole afternoon. But he also received enough yeses that during this first month in practice, he saw 233 new patients and earned a record income of $72,000 in an area that didn't need another chiropractor. That's powerful. Remember, to get what you want, you are going to need to ask, and say next, next, next until you get the yeses you are looking for. Asking was, and always will be a numbers game. Don't take it personally because it isn't personal. It's just not a match until it is. Some famous rejections, the girl does it. It seems to me, have a special perception or feeling which would lift that book above the curiosity level from the rejection slip for the day of Anne Frank. Everyone who has ever made it to the top has endured rejection. You just have to realize that they are not personal, considering the following. When Alexander Graham Bell offered the rights to the telephone for $100,000 to Carl Orton, president of Western Union, Orton replied, "What use would this company make as an electric toy?" Annie Everhart, who started modeling at the age of 16, was once told by model agency owner Eileen Ford that she would never make it as a model. Why not? Redheads don't sell. Everhart later became the first redhead in history to appear on the cover of Glamour magazine, had a great modeling career, and then went on to appear in 27 films and numerous TV shows. Novelist Stephen King almost made a multi-million-dollar mistake when he threw his Carrie manuscript in the garbage because he was tired of the rejections. We are not interested in science fiction which deals with negative utopias, he was told. Let me move this down. They don't sell. Luckily, his wife fished it out of the garbage. Eventually, Carrie was printed by another publisher, sold more than 4 million copies, and was made into a blockbuster film. In 1998, Google co-founders Sergey Brin and Larry Page approached Yahoo and suggested a merger. Yahoo could have snapped up the company for a handful of stock, but instead they suggested that the young Googlers keep working on their little school project and come back when they had grown up. Within 5 years, Google had an estimated market capitalization of $20 billion. At the time of this writing, they were about to launch an initial public auction that eventually raised $1.67 billion. It is impossible to sell animal stories in the USA. From the rejection slip from George Orwell, Animal Farm. The record for the most astounding numbers of rejections will probably be John Creasy, a popular British mystery writer. Creasy collected 743 rejection slips, but he sold his first book before he sold his first book, I'm sorry, Impervious to Rejection. Over the next 40 years, he went on to publish 562 full-length books under 28 different pseudonyms. If John Creasy could handle 743 rejections on his way to success, so can you. Wow. So what does our panel have to say in regard to those unique and famous stories that we just heard about? Nobody has anything to say? I'm going to give you time to unmute your mic. I was amazed at the Google story. You know, and look what Google practically rules the world on technology right now. I think that it was very fascinating to learn how their start was. Lorraine, you have something you wanted to share?
Silly Yahoo, right?
Yeah, I bet you whoever's in charge of Yahoo is really kicking their butt every day.
Well, the thing is, there are so many different stories of rejection before, you know, anybody, you know, was successful. Who's that basketball player, actually? Oh, my gosh, I was just about to say it.
Michael Jordan?
Yes, thank you. I mean, he was rejected so many times, and look what he turned into. Kentucky Fried Chicken is another one. I mean, they go on and on and on before, you know, you just have to be tenacious. You just have to keep it on, you know, to get where you want. And I think it all boils down to, if you truly believe in what you have, you will succeed.
I agree.
Don't let others rule what you want to achieve.
Well, we're programmed from a very early age to see rejection as something wrong with ourselves, and no one is teaching us until now that rejection really is an outside reflection of something's going on with that individual. It's nothing wrong with you, and you just have to learn to acquire the rejection of rejection and keep asking for next, because everybody's not going to be on board with what it is that you have. You just have to align yourself with the people that see the vision that you see, and they will show up, and you will perfect your craft in sharing it the more people you ask. So I see it as a way of polishing myself in how I deliver my story, which each time I can remember in 2005, I was scared to pick up the phone and talk to someone I didn't know. I actually journeyed to Cleveland and spent a weekend with my sponsor in that opportunity, and we both were just devastated by the idea of picking up the phone and talking to somebody. Well, now I don't even think about it. If I see a phone number and I can call and see what it is that is going on with that person and see if they would be interested in what I have to offer, I just do it. So it's funny, it takes personal growth, it takes a sense of self and confidence in yourself to move past those, you know, rejectional things we have in our head, because as we read yesterday, those are only manifestations in our mind, and they don't exist. It's only what we're telling ourselves. So in learning this, the people that we see that are famous and successful, what you don't see is the story, their story. What did they go through, and how did they conquer it to get where they are today? It's so many people want to be famous, rich, successful, but are they willing to do what they've done to get where they are? And that's the key component to it all. They learned how to do the necessary things to make them successful. They were, you know, they persevered and were dedicated. It was important enough to them to follow through. They learned what they needed to learn. These are all makeups of what will get you to that final picture.
Absolutely. And, you know, always keep in mind, you know, the more no's you get, with each no you get, the closer to a yes you are. And you just have to keep that in mind.
I agree. I agree. Diane, you wanted to share something with us?
Sure. I just wanted to say I have a little bit of a personal story to share. My kids are with a modeling agency, and my oldest wanted to start when she was 8 years old. And she kept getting these auditions, and she never got a gig. And she felt discouraged. As you know, little pretty girls who are princesses feel that way. And I
Hmm.
kept saying, well, we gotta go. It doesn't matter if you don't get chosen. One day you will. And now she's 12 and a half and she's starting to get the gigs. But in the process of these years, there's this one little young girl, 15, 16-year-old, and she's close to our province in Edmonton, and she became a famous model.
Mm.
She went to all the gigs, and the agency always shared with these young kids her story. She went to everything. She never missed anything. She always showed up for the pageant. She always did everything. So it's nice that we can teach our young kids that if they persevere and they push through, their dreams do come true. Because a lot of us have to relearn that our dreams do come true.
Exactly. So many people leave this world with their dreams in them.
That's
They
right.
never ventured out to experience that what it would feel like to live that dream, no matter what it is. Uh, your dream was, you know, appointed to you, buried in you, and it is only you that can bring it out. Uh, yeah, that was a good story. I'm glad that your daughter, were persistent and didn't give up, because so many kids. Well, I can't say that. A lot of kids see, it's the world that knocks us down, steps on us, bangs us up, bruises us, and it just depends on the support network that they have from their parents and their friends to support them through those hurdles. Because as you said, your daughter now is getting the gigs, but if you wasn't there to support her and help her understand, it doesn't always come easy. It doesn't happen overnight. Now she's finally very happy that she's starting to see the results of her work. Thank you for sharing that with us.
You're welcome. The 16-year-old redhead brought it out, so I was.
Yeah. And I can't imagine somebody saying redheads don't sell.
I know,
They're
eh?
part of society. They are the consumer that is buying what you're selling. So why would you not want to, impact that part of society? Some people have such a narrow view of what is right. And that's where, whoever said that wasn't thinking of nobody but themselves, or a very small part of society as the main consumers of their product. So I can see where they were definitely making a mistake. You know,
Yeah.
is there anyone else would like to share on this topic?
I do.
Okay,
I'm
Terry.
I'm Terry. Back in the early '80s, my god sister, she was a very strong entrepreneur, and she started working on the construction site as a rough and final cleaner. And one day, she was talking about it. I said, "Well, I'd like to go with you on the site and see what you really do." So she allowed me to. I came back home and stayed up all night long and put together my paperwork and doing the same thing. And my girlfriend, my other friend said, "Well, Terry, it's a man's site, on a construction site. Here you are a woman. Oh, what does that got to do with anything? If Nancy can do it, I can do it." Well, I did it. And the guys were so welcoming. They said, "Wish other women can come in and work on a construction site to see exactly how their homes were built." So what I'm saying is this: I didn't give up of all the naysayers. Said, "No, you're not gonna make it. It's a man's world." But I proved to myself I can do it. So sometimes we have to live off the negativity in order to turn things into a positive. So I teach my daughter, if you got something that is not politically correct into another person's eyes, and you feel strongly about it, go do it. All you can do is fail, but you're not going to fail because you have it in you that you're going to succeed. And she takes that role model with her. When she want to do something, if someone say no, she just do it and she succeeds. Especially in her line of business, she's a top salesperson in her job. and they want to know how you do it. Well, if you got to put your mind to it, and you dream that you're going to be succeeding in whatever you do, you will be good. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, Terry. That was powerful because each and every one of us have come to learn that once you co-create your visualization of you already in that spot, there is nothing in your way but you. So, we've learned some very valuable tips here to instill in ourselves and build our path to our successes. The next chapter that we're going to do, was there anyone else that wanted to say anything before we move on?
I just want to point out that I don't know where I had heard this or whatever, but this is kind of a cool little saying. How many questions do you have to ask to get a yes? Just one. And there was someone who had told me that once, and it stuck with me because to get a yes, you only have to actually ask the right question once to get a yes from someone. You might have to say that question several times to other people, but to actually get the yes, you actually have to ask.
That's true, Jody. That was powerful. And you know what? As you were saying it, I was thinking, if you have learned what you need to learn, that you will know how to formulate your question for a call of action and to get the yes. Identifying, and that's all part of building relationships too. As you build relationships, you become a good listener and listen to what they have to share with what's going on with them, and then you will have the right formulated words to share what it is that is a problem solver for them. Because when you're sharing your opportunity, it's never about you. It's about how what you're wanting to share with them can be a solution to a problem that they are having. And that's where a lot of people tend to feel like they can't recruit because they haven't learned the fundamental success tips of how to ask that question, that key question. So thank you, Jody, for sharing that, because that was right on target. Is there anyone else that would like to share to this subject of rejection? Okay, well, we'll move on to chapter 19. Would anyone like to read? Okay.
I can go ahead and read. I'm sorry, I couldn't get back to
Thank you, Lorraine. I thought, okay, is anybody going to help? Okay. Thank you, Lorraine.
All righty.
Okay.
All right, channel. My goodness. Chapter 19. Use feedback to your advantage. Feedback is the breakfast of champions. Ken Blanchard and Spencer Johnson, co-authors of The 1 Minute Manager, I love that book. Once you begin to take action, you'll start getting feedback about whether you're doing the right thing. You'll get data, advice, help, suggestions, direction, and even criticism that will help you constantly adjust and move forward while continually enhancing your knowledge, abilities, attitudes, and relationships. But asking for feedback is really only the first part of the equation. Once you receive feedback, you have to be willing to respond to it. There are two kinds of feedback. There are two kinds of feedback you must encounter, negative and positive. We tend to prefer the positive, that is, results, money, praise, a raise, a promotion, satisfied customers, awards, happiness, inner peace, intimacy, pleasure. It feels better. It tells us that we're on course and that we're doing the right thing. We tend not to like negative feedback, lack of results, little or no money, criticism, poor evaluations, being passed over for a raise or a promotion, complaints, unhappiness, inner conflict, loneliness, pain. However, there is as much useful data in negative feedback as there is in positive feedback. It tells us that we're off course, headed in the wrong direction, doing the wrong thing, and that is also valuable information. In fact, it's so valuable that one of the most useful projects you can undertake is to change how you feel about negative feedback. I like to refer to negative feedback as information about improvement opportunities. The world is telling me where and how I can improve what I'm doing. Here is a place I can get better. Here is where I can correct my behavior to get even closer to what I say I want. More money, more sales, a promotion, a better relationship, better grades, or more success on the athletic field. To reach your goals more quickly, you need to welcome, receive, embrace all the feedback that comes your way. On course, off course.
Lorraine, we're going to stop there for a minute and mastermind that because we're getting down to the 30 minutes. While you were reading that, I thought about how people are prone to take constructive criticism as a negative, and what they don't realize is their level of trust with the relationships that they have does not allow them to see or hear where they can improve. So many people are focused on self that they don't see they're their own worst enemy. If someone gives you advice about what you're doing to improve what you're doing, we take it as a negative. I see it every day in relationships I'm in family, and I'm just trying to improve what they're doing and keep them from blocking their blessings. Some people work out of fear. They think that a constructive criticism is a belittlement on them, when in fact it's making harmony come into where they are right now to make everything run more smoothly. Has anybody on the panel experienced that? No one?
I'm sure everyone has.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and like you said, you know, it was on point. You know, your negative feedback is all how you take it. Negative feedback can be, you know, a true blessing.
True.
It's sometimes, you know, you can walk around and see things every day and be totally oblivious to it. You know, sometimes well, maybe I'm the only one, but, you know, you ever put that note on your fridge to make sure that you don't forget to do something? You do it so far in advance, it gets to the point where you just don't see that anymore. Well, you know, sometimes it's the same way when feedback comes to you and you're like, wow, you know, I didn't even realize I was doing that. You know, I have this thing going on with John, and I said, you know, if you ever hear in my conversation where my accent, you know, that Southern girl from Brooklyn accent comes through, and sometimes the Brooklyn comes through a little bit more heavy. I said, you know, sometimes I don't realize, I don't hear a lot of times what I'm saying. You know, point it out to me, let me know, so I can correct it. I don't take it negatively. I say, oh, wow, thank you. You know, I didn't realize I just said coffee instead of coffee. So, you know, it's just all how you take it. I want to know what I'm doing wrong so I can be corrected. It also has to be given in the right manner as well, though. And then I also feel that's very important.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Some people, in their opinions of are not really being constructive, being damaging. So you have to decipher exactly where they're coming from with their opinion. A lot of times we're doing things in the process and not realize that we're alienating or blocking our blessings that can come out of that relationship simply because of what we do. My daughter tells me all the time, it's not how you do it, but not what you do, but how you do it. And that is a true fact. If you're personally growing, you're learning the necessary communication skills to share constructive criticism. But it's not your responsibility if the other person's not receiving it. So that can cause rift as well. Negative feedback is there to help you, as the reading said, you personally grow. But if you're not open to it and consider that you may be doing something inappropriate that will help, the relationship grow, then you're blocking your own blessings without even knowing it. Is there anyone else would like to share on that before? We're not going to
Yeah,
move. Yes, Rachel.
Yeah, you asked the question that, have we ever experienced, and I definitely will say a yes to that. And, one of the things that stands strong with me and what I've learned, through this course of personal development for me has been seek to understand the other person. I mean, I've always known to, try to understand the other person, but it becomes more powerful when you're doing it in business. In life, it's always been, let me try to come from their point of view. When I was in foster care, I always tried to come from, why did my mother do this? Why did this happen? So in my personal life, I did, but I didn't understand that it was really, really important to transfer that over to my business life. And even, yes, you do it because you're a creature of habit, but it becomes more powerful when you understand how critical that is to be effective in business and life, and that is to seek to understand the other person. So if a person is giving you feedback, don't, even though it may seem negative, look at the place where they're coming from. If they're coming from a place of tearing you down and not really caring about you and your success, then you want to X that out. But if it's a situation where, this person's heart, they don't mean you any harm, but maybe it didn't come out the way that you thought it should, or, maybe it came across the wrong way, don't take it as a negative. Say, okay, what can I learn from this experience? What can I learn from what this person just shared with me, so that I can grow with it? I'll do it often. I will, I have some mentors that are, six-figure income earners, and I'll go to them and I'll say, so how was that? I want their feedbacks because I want to improve in what I'm doing. If I don't get feedback, then I don't know whether I'm doing a good job or not. I don't know what I need to improve. So feedback is crucial in order for you to know whether you need to change things, you need to do something different, et cetera, et cetera. Back to you, Deborah.
That is so true, Rachel. And you do want, it is very, very important that you are getting constructive criticism from people that are building you up. Because, you got to be able to discern what is that person's motive behind what they're doing. And you're right, Rachel. If you're successful, people are always moving forward, and they're looking to connect and build themselves around other people that are already where they want to go. You don't want to listen to someone's opinion that is not really building you up. And I believe that's what you're trying to say, Rachel, that out of that you will see your pathway open up so much easier and doors open easier when I take for instance my cousin Jean, Peggy. She was a caseworker that worked for a city organization helping disabled and individuals that were in the criminal justice system, and she had very good communication skills. Now, what was so ironic was she was the black sheep of so-called my family. But she had so much value to deliver to us that she had learned from going to college. And I come to learn from, after letting go of the family's rejection to her, she actually became one of my favorite cousins. And she gave me highly constructive criticism about being a successful person. I used to talk so loud that I wanted, and she said, what you're doing, you're not talking with the person, you're wanting to hear yourself talk. And I had to consider that for a minute. Nobody else in my family would ever say that to me like she did. She was very constructive in what she said to me, to the point where I started to monitor my loudness in my communication with others. But the family always said, why are you shouting at me? That was the negative from the rest of the family when I talked, but she helped me to understand why they were saying what they were saying. So it's having the right individual that can understand where you're coming from, as Rachel said, Uh, and that is very important in business, because if you don't have good communication skills, you basically have no way of opening doors. That was my personal situation. Is there anyone else that want to share? And as today, I still monitor my level of voice, and when I'm talking to people, and I still have to keep monitoring that, because if I get excited, I'm going to be loud. So it's also part of an emotional bag for me too. Does anybody else have anything they want to share? Yeah. Okay, well, what we're going to do is we're going to end today's mastermind session and start on tomorrow with on course, off course, on course, off course, which is a continuation of understanding constructive criticism and rejection. What I want to say is if you're struggling at your business, if you're struggling at what you're doing today, each person on the panel can help you. Participating in this personal growth hangout, we do it Monday through Thursday at noon, and on Friday we sometimes have a public on-air training to help you in your business as well. Connect back with the individuals that are on this panel and ask them for their help. We're all here to help you help yourself. With that said, I want to thank you for coming and participating in today's hangout, and each and every one of you have a blessed and prosperous day.